Basketball Breaks, make sure you check it out.
People Bricks.
Basketball Breaks.
Basketballbreaks.com. Keep it locked.
Yep, live and direct as we do once more, one more again. And today's cool People Breaks podcast, we have Julian.
What's up, boys? Sorry that I'm a little bit formal this evening.
You're looking good.
Thank you. I thought so.
And Julian's he's come through real professional today. He's trying to make everyone look underdressed and whatnot.
Yeah, we both with the black hoodies and he like...
I can go for one bit.
No doubt. And Mr. Fraser, sorry. And we have Jan.
Yeah, what up, guys? How are you doing?
What's up, boy?
Yeah,
yes.
And as we do, we have myself, Aaron Campbell, a.k.a. Mr. Campbell, a.k.a. AC, a.k.a. the architect, a.k.a. don't let me dunk on you. But anyway. Cool. So what are we going to get into today?
I have to talk about the first firing of the season. Coach Fizdale, previously of my beloved Miami Heat, got his big break with Memphis, and everything went to shit real quick. It was only there for sadly nowadays his tenure with the team isn't that uncommon for an NBA. It's not like for an NBA franchise. It's not like the old days of Phil Jackson and Jerry Sloan and Greg Popovich nowadays. I'm not saying that Fizdale is one of those great coaches, but it doesn't seem like he's been given a fair shake. And I mean, we can get into it about a little bit more like what's going on with that team, but off the bat, I mean, I don't think he was given a fair go on this team to make it the way he wants. And there's a lot of reasons that things didn't break right for him, but it feels like he's the fall guy. And we talked about it before with the Suns a couple of weeks ago, that not only is there a problem with what's on the floor for various reasons, but there's problems in the back office and with ownership. And there's a big problem with the Memphis ownership where I think it's like 3 guys own the team. One of like the majority owner who's a bit absentee, doesn't really want to be involved. Now there's like a 3-month period or like a 2-month period where the other guys can force him to buy them out, or they can buy him out. And I mean, this is a small market team. There's like people. I mean, it's the NBA. They're going to make money, and it's a worthwhile asset for a billionaire to own a nice franchise like Memphis. But you know, it's just one of those weird complications that NBA fans don't really appreciate. And like, sometimes you get lucky, like I see you and me have got a little bit of love for the Heat, and like Mickey Aronson is an amazing owner, and like the guys behind all the great franchises, be that in Boston and in San Antonio, those owners are amazing. But there's a lot going on the floor with the coaching staff in the back office in Memphis. And like I say, I don't think Fizdale was given. I'm not saying he's an amazing coach. I just don't think he's been given a fair chance. Or maybe this is what a fair chance resembles in the NBA nowadays. But what do you guys think about that? I mean, when it comes to, do you think Fizdale this was going to happen at the end of the season? Should he have had another year? Should this have been wait for the All-Star break? What do you think precipitated all this in your mind? I know, AC, you want to take that?
Well, I mean, it's crazy to me. I think this has many similarities to what happened with Earl Watson. I think it's incredibly premature, and I think there's definitely stuff behind the scenes that we don't know about that is having some kind of impact on this decision. As far as Coach Fizz,
what was I saying? I said like, it's the first firing. No, Watson, of course it was, but that happened like within 5 minutes of the NBA started.
yeah.
Hardly counted. Like, the Suns are. I forgot. Sorry, the Suns are an NBA team. My bad. Yeah.
Yeah. They actually are. But yeah, I think he didn't get a fair shake at all, regardless of whether these days, you know, a fair shake might be a lot smaller than we've become accustomed to. I think he was hard done by. I really think he was. I think there are problems at the top. And like you rightfully said, Julian, the owner has a lot to do with the success of a franchise, because as a billionaire, and I'm not speaking as well, but as a billionaire, somebody at that level in business, you need to realize that, okay, I'm buying an NBA team. Ultimately, this is a passion play. This is a passion purchase. This is not, oh, my next money spinner. Because quite frankly, when you have a really good look at the maths, you look at the margins, it ain't that. And you need to know. That's why you have your more impassioned owners like your
Mark Cuban, like that.
Right, that's what's rolling off my tongue,
owner, right?
Yeah, Mark Cuban is like the perfect owner, and you have a lot of good ownership around the league. But whoever's up there in Memphis, wow, they need to sort it out. There's problems there for sure. And quite frankly, let's keep it real. Memphis have been punching above their weight for a while as a team. And Coach Fizz, last year, I think he maybe worked wonders, might be a step too far, slightly, but I mean, I think he did a decent job. You have to take into account what they have. And when you look at their roster, when you look at their roster now, I mean, wow. Like, he really needed to be given a whole season, because they've more or less decimated their roster and then left themselves with Marc Gasol, who is a good player, but he's not that type of player where you can say, okay, we've got a superstar, so we'll be all right. No, he ain't that. So, yeah, I think Coach Fizz was hard done by, and there are rumors that Gasol actually had a hand in this firing because they didn't really get on well. Yeah, to be fair, it's difficult to say, okay, let's get rid of Gasol if it comes down to one or the other. But I think there probably could have been a better way to work things out. But there's nothing there. Who've they got on their squad now?
Put it this way, their best player is Tyreek Evans. So, who I really like.
That's fucked up. Well, like, my opinion, like, on the ownership. First, there's this saying in German that too many cooks destroy the meal. I don't know if it exists in English as well.
Yeah, we got that.
We have that.
Yeah. That is my first thing, like, when you have three owners, it can't go very well, more or less. Then the other thing, I'm reading right now a book, is called Ego is the Enemy, and that is in general the thing with all the owners. Every owner has a lot of money, because otherwise we would own the team as well. So, and usually when you have a lot of money, or when you made a lot of money on your own, you are a person that has that is very self-confident or inherited the money. But usually with a lot of money, there's a big ego as well. And what separates Mark Cuban from others is they know they want to learn, because I watched a few interviews and videos of Mark Cuban, and he's like a guy, he asks questions. He has the mindset that he wants to learn everything from everybody he's speaking with. And when you have on the other side owners that are just, they have the money, they made it, and then they buy a franchise and they think, okay, I'm the best basketball expert on the planet or something like that, or at least they can't say, okay, I won't take the important basketball decisions. Then the franchise ends up losing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that Steve Ballmer is one of those like bad owners because he hasn't had the time yet to prove it.
Yeah.
But like it's I understand there are a lot of guys who are obscenely wealthy, and I say guys, I mean it's all guys. Like sadly, this is the balance in the NBA. I mean, there's still there's one. There are no female head coaches. There's is it Sue Bird is on the San Antonio Spurs staff. There's a female referee, but let's not get into that. Like, gender diversity on this podcast isn't exactly great either, but maybe something to look into in the future. Who knows? But yeah, I mean that thing about owners and ego. I mean, yeah, a lot of people would make the assumption that, well, I made all this money, I'm really good. I was a wonder at Microsoft. I will know basketball through and through because that's an easy business to run. And it just isn't like that's. There's a few guys who I mean, this is the thing, because Adam Silver is a wonderful business owner, business manager, right, as commissioner. He's not exactly been a basketball head all his life. I know he's been a fan for all his life, but he's not been involved intimately in the business. He was a lawyer before everything else, and then he came into the league. And he's one of those people who seems to understand how moving from one business to another has to work. And he, like Mark Cuban, is someone who is known for working by committee and asking questions and getting all the information he needs and doing a lot of studying and research. And that's why we're seeing him do really informed changes to the game, even if it's something as simple as changing the All-Star game. But it's talking about gambling and legalizing marijuana or some marijuana usage in the NBA. But yeah, suffice it to say, the guys who own the Grizzlies are not in that class of people.
Exactly. And I just want to speak to a couple of points that you guys brought up. Firstly, the whole ego thing. Now, I've heard reports that the ownership kind of didn't take Fizdale's attitude very well, because he's known as being someone who just does not mince words and does not easily bow down to the notion of authority just because. And with the whole ego thing for guys who are billionaires and have made a lot of money and are in a certain position, that sort of, not to get real sort of cerebral with it and that, but that power distance that normally exists in these type of hierarchies doesn't really fly with someone like Coach Fizdale. You saw, you know, last season when he was in that interview and he was just like, take that for data. And that was just hilarious because he doesn't care about that type of thing. And coming off of, kind of following up of the whole take that for data thing and the knowledge, the domain expertise that's necessary when you enter any industry, you need to know what you're going into. And if you don't, you may well have been great in another field, another type of business, another space, but you need to have that humility to sit back, learn stuff, and not think basketball is not just a bottom line type of thing. So going into the whole thing about data and statistics, I do know that a lot of these new owners are running their franchises more or less purely from that standpoint. It's just all about the numbers being the bottom line, the numbers being various types of advanced statistics, and it's just not working out well. And there's also a lack of common sense because, quite frankly, they've got Chandler Parsons on a stupid contract, an absolutely ridiculous contract. You can look at what's happened with Chandler Parsons thus far in his playing career and his injury record and just see that, okay, that's not a good idea. People are doling out max contracts all over the gap, especially at that moment in time when the new rules came in. But I mean, I just think...
Yeah, like for 5 minutes there, Mike Conley was the best played player in the history of the NBA. Like, he was the first guy to get like one of those $30 million deals. And then they handed out another one to Chandler Parsons. Like, utterly ridiculous. And that's... it baffles the mind giving money to that guy. It's just a silly thing because Chandler was good in Houston. But then, like, wing players don't get over those sorts of injuries really quickly or well, ever, especially when they happen twice. You know, like, the massive red flag. I'm all for giving a guy a chance after one injury, but there's a reason that Sean Livingston wasn't given $20 million deals, and why Penny Hardaway never made big money in his career after his injury, because smart owners knew maybe don't give them all the money we need to go sign another guy. And maybe it's a symptom of being in Memphis and not being a destination city. It's like, oh, this guy wants to play for us, quickly give him the money he needs for him to sign. But, I mean, to talk about that, talk about character guys, and Memphis has always been a character team with like the grit and grind thing. And Marc Gasol and Mike Conley were the most important parts of that. One could say there's Tony Allen and Zach Randolph as well, but when it comes to actually winning games, it's down to Mike Conley and Marc Gasol, and those two guys have got a great relationship, a great pairing on the court when they can get on the court together. And Marc Gasol has been like in the Memphis community since he was in high school, I think. Like, so they don't want to get rid of him. But nonetheless,
hence why Coach Fizz ended up being the fall guy. Because if it becomes a binary decision, it's like, yo, you know what I mean? It's all love, but you got to go. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen like that.
But to be fair as well, I mean, Fizdale wasn't out there winning games for them. Like, Marc Gasol is, the talent wins games. And even Steve Kerr, he did an interview recently and said, no, like, he might be a good coach, but he was just saying, he didn't say like, oh, I'm a great coach or anything. He just said straight up, no, it was like, this is a talent league and coaches need talent. And he was talking in this interview about, oh, were you thinking about going to, it was a choice for him at one point between going to Golden State or the Knicks. Like, and the interviewer asked him straight up, it's like, where do you think you'd be now if you signed with the Knicks? And like, was a head coach with them? And he said, I'd probably be doing TV again. Like the Knicks job is one of those 3 years and you're done. Like, but even he, the best coach, one of the 3 best coaches in the NBA right now, coach of the best team, right? And coach of the champions. Like, he said, no, it's about talent.
I'll give you the last 2 points.
Yeah. Fine. He's coach of the champions, and he knows that it's about the talent. And I mean, on that, as much as I think that Fizdale should have got a bit more time, and that now was a dumb time to fire him, like before the new year, maybe wait until the All-Star break. Bickerstaff is he's an okay interim coach, but as much as I like him from his Heat days, like Fizdale, I mean, and as much as I think he should have been given a fairer chance, I don't think he was ever going to be the guy to take this team from where they were before. Like, the best coach they had was Lionel Hollins, and he got fired.
To him, exactly.
He got fired after they won 56 games and made the Western Conference Finals.
This is the other thing as well. This is the other thing. Mapping your behavior to your ambitions. Because, I mean, really and truly, Memphis Grizzlies have, in the last 3 to 4 years, in my opinion, have done amazingly. Who are the Memphis Grizzlies? Come on. I think people are getting crazy. The ownership, I think they are super unrealistic. That's just mad to me. I mean, like, if one day, all of a sudden, for whatever reason, I found myself in wherever, Cleveland, the Knicks or something, and I crossed up half their team and dunked. Like, that's it for me. I'm retiring with that footage. I'm not coming back next year and saying, yeah, watch what I do to Porzingis. No, like, I've reached my ceiling, and Memphis Grizzlies were never really, they were punching above their weight. They're not going to get much higher than that in any foreseeable future. And I think they got too big for their boots.
Absolutely.
I totally agree.
It all started when they were playing that series against the Spurs. I think it might have been a first-round series a few years ago, and they won in 6 or 7, and Zach Randolph making threes for no reason. Like, there was that one series, people started saying, oh, they can hang with the Spurs, can they? That means they can beat the Clippers. Oh, could they beat the Rockets? Could they? It's like, no. Like, they're not built for the modern NBA. They're just not anymore, sadly. Part of it is that, they don't shoot enough threes and all that. But frankly as well, they just don't have the talent. And on that
They never did. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, their ability to perform, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but their ability to perform came from their collective strength.
Yeah.
And
exactly
the culture, or at least the playing style they had there, with all of those component pieces, your Zebo, your Conleys, Gasol, all of them together, like Voltron, when they combined, it was like, okay, this is a team that's something to, consider. Like, they're a force to be reckoned with together. But I mean, the individual parts, it's not that. Come on, man. Let's
mean, Marc Gasol's, I've always liked as a center, and I had one of them on my team. But like, people keep on saying every year, like, Mike Conley got snubbed again from All-Star. Like, he's not an All-Star. He's good. He's a good point guard. He's not worth $30 million a year. I mean, he should be an all-star. Come on, you play in the same conference as Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook. How many do I need to name? Steph Curry. It's like there's three. That you can't. That means Mike Conley, you're not allowed in the All-Star game. Like James Harden is a better point guard than Mike Conley. Mike Conley as well does one of the most annoying things on the court. He's a left-handed player who got told off once for not being able to shoot right-handed, and now he does stupid right-hand floaters in the lane. Like one-footed, off-footed right-hand floaters just because one prick. And I know it. I have no evidence for this, but I just know. That's because one guy in the gym one time told him, "Oh, you only go left, right?" I was like, nah. And now it's just, every single time he does it, it's like, no, just 2-foot jump stop, left hand floater. I was just, why? Every time I see him do it, it's like, you put so much time and effort into training that shot. And he's the only guy who does it, other than Ben Simmons, like, who's actually ambidextrous. But every single time that Kyrie does a one-footed right-hand floater, it's like, it's a miss. Like, that goes down 20% of the time if he's 2 feet from the rim. It stresses me out. It's one reason I would never take him on 2K. It's one reason I wouldn't want him on my team if I was a GM. You know, it's just, and he's too old now, like to really run with young point guards and explosive point guards. But I really like Marc Gasol. They're not going to trade him.
Yeah, I love Marc Gasol as well. Not just because I'm living in Barcelona and I love Spain.
His hometown, right?
Yeah, he's from my town. Yeah, but well, more or less, I can just agree with all what you said about the Grizzlies. They had their ceiling and they thought, okay, we are a fucking good team, but who have you on your team? Conley and Gasol. Marc Gasol, great player, but never was the player of the league and never will be. And Conley, as you said, like he's good, but good is not good enough to be a championship contender. And right now, like it just can't go downwards for the Grizzlies, and it's starting now. And they have to rebuild, and then maybe in 6-7 years they are again in the position they were in the last 3-4 years. But yeah, Memphis Grizzlies are the Memphis Grizzlies, right?
I mean, they say they're never like they overperformed, and then they thought we're this close, and it was never going to happen. And with a team like that, they're not going to sign big time free agents, and they're right now in this weird stage, like Atlanta was a few years ago when they had like ISO Joe and Josh Smith, where it's like we're always in the playoffs. And like, we're always just there, and some people would like pick us to be a dark horse to make it to the second round, whoop-de-doo. But they're in that really annoying NBA purgatory state where you're not good enough to win anything meaningful or be remembered, but not bad enough to get a worthwhile draft pick. Because a team like Memphis, like a team like, they need to get lucky. That's how a team like Memphis makes it anywhere in the NBA. Like Cleveland in 2003 drafting LeBron James, Memphis needs to get deep into the lottery and get lucky. That's what it comes down to. And I mean, just before we wrap it up on Memphis, because we can talk about some of the other stuff that's been going on, talking about the Clippers. As for like the take that for data stuff, it was like, well, Fizz, like the team is 7-13. Like, take that for data. Like, I'm not surprised. Like, it's unfair to a point because, I mean, Conley's only played 12 games. Chandler Parsons not playing even 20 minutes a game. Ben McLemore is playing 9 games. It's really sad when I have to say, yeah, Ben McLemore is an important rotation player for them. JaMychal Green, whose name I would not have known before last year, has only played 8 games for them, but is actually really important. And yeah, like we said from the jump, like their best players are Tyreke Evans and Jesus, maybe Mario Chalmers. So, yeah. It's a sad time to be a Memphis fan. I don't know what you do with it. You have to do you start trading. I think I'd start trading.
I know what to do. You have to suffer because, like, as a Wolves fan, the last years, right now, I'm celebrating. Like, but the last years, you just stand up every morning, check, oh, another loss, and then you go on with your day. There's nothing else to do. Right?
And so, like Minnesota, you need to hope you get Karl Anthony Towns in the draft.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And like Cleveland traded Andrew Wiggins for Minnesota traded Kevin Love, who was an okay player, for Andrew Wiggins. Trade Mike Conley for a number 1 or number 2 pick in the draft, and because there will be a team out there that wants him.
Sure.
The Knicks have been in that mix for Conley a lot before, right? And people would want Marc Gasol. People were even saying earlier this week, "Oh, Marc Gasol could get traded to Cleveland." It was like suddenly everyone wants to move to Cleveland. Like,
yeah, that's
they really needed center.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we can leave that in Memphis to that. I mean, after winning 56 games a few years ago, and then was it Dave Yeager was running that team? He was okay. Or was it Mike Malone or one of those white guys that's either always in Memphis, Utah, or Denver? Right. And then now having Fizdale, they're not going to clear 500. I'd be surprised if they win. They'll win 30 games, 35 maybe, but they won't be in the playoffs. This might be the last time we talk about them all year until they trade someone. So swiftly moving on, let's talk about the Clippers. Because they're in a similar position. They're 8-11 with a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
What do you guys think they should do?
Get the people healthy, right? Well, yeah, it's difficult. I thought they had a great start, and Blake Griffin going crazy, and right now obviously Blake Griffin injured, Theodosic still injured, Beverly still injured, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. And yeah, it's tough. Like, what you will do if your 3 best players are injured. DeAndre Jordan can go for dunks and everything, but if nobody passes him to him, what will he do on his own, right? He's just because he can't pass. That we know. Right? I think it's difficult. It will be very, very difficult to go to the playoffs for the Clippers.
Yeah, the Clippers. Okay, so
it's happened. The Clippers curse has happened. Kardashians curse. Something's happened.
Indeed.
So I brought those two together beautifully. Well done. Thanks, Blake Griffin. Thanks. Not saying that you didn't think this was a possibility when you started dating one of the Jenners, but yeah, he must have known. Oh well. Yeah, what are you saying, AC?
Well, yes, the Kardashians curse the Clippers. Yeah. Well, I mean, in terms of what they can or should do, I agree with Jan. I think they have to just stick. They have to just stand pat at this moment and suffer however they need to and do their best to try and get these guys healthy. Strategically, if I was the upper management, the ownership, I would seriously start to look at what's happening with our medical team and perhaps the court and our training facilities, because the injury thing has been an issue for a few seasons now. So something's going on. And I mean, that's been one of the excuses that has kept Doc Rivers in his job, quite frankly, because they kept having guys go down. You need to just try and get those guys healthy. As sort of simplistic as that sounds, I don't think there's anything else they can or even should do at this moment, because I think it would be too rash. Now, I did say last week, quite frankly, I think Doc Rivers should go. But I don't think that should happen now. I think for this season, you just have to let it play out. Sometimes you just have to do that and not be so much swayed by what's immediately in front of you and be a prisoner of the moment. Things happen. There's the ebbs and flows. Markets go up and they go down. You just have to ride it out and see where you end up, and hopefully you end up okay. Because I think one of the problems, and I think Steve Ballmer is quite a long-range strategic thinker like that. But I would say one of the problems with a lot of NBA teams is that they're just in flux way too much. And sometimes, even if you have to suffer, and I'm not saying some kind of Sam Hinkie type of scenario, but sometimes you might have to just feel pain for a little bit and then maybe have a good look at things and see, okay, where are we really at now? They've got Griffin, his time may be coming to an end. who knows? And then it would really be a let's blow this up thing. Who knows? I think they should just stay and just see how the chips fall, to be fair. I don't think there's anything else they can do.
In my mind, this season is a wash for them. They're not going to make the playoffs. Yeah. If they did, they wouldn't. They'd be an 8th seed, and they wouldn't even get a worthwhile draft pick. They'd be blown out in the first round if they did make it. Then, like we said on the injuries, Blake is out 2 months, they say, but why not just leave him out for 3 months and let him actually get healthy? They're not like his being on the court without any team. There's no point letting him get injured. Just let him sit for 3 months.
Exactly.
And I mean, that injury happened, as far as I understand it, because Austin Rivers fell into his knee, right? I think that's what it was.
You're just looking for a reason to throw shade at Austin Rivers.
I'm just saying that this would never have happened if they had traded him in the summer, or just said, like, who did it with Josh Smith? And it's like, no, we're just buying you. Like, they should have just done what the Pistons did with Josh Smith. And it's like, no, we're not trading you. No one wants you. We're just buying you out. Go away. That's what they should do with Austin Rivers. But yeah, Blake's out 3 months, let's say. Beverly's out for the season. Teodosic is a really exciting point guard. We were so up on them in the first week of the season. Like, Teodosic throwing these amazing passes. But he's a 30-something-year-old point guard who's played 2 games in the NBA. Like, when's he coming back? Gallinari's out, who's meant to be their third weapon on offense. That's what I'm saying. To me, it is what it is. I mean, I think it's just you kind of regroup behind the scenes and just have a look at, okay, what's really going on here? Let everything else just play out, whatever. If Blake's out, fine, leave him out, take whatever is coming to you and try to really sort it out and stop trying to put plasters on top of great big gashes and wounds, because it's not working. And quite frankly, that's more or less what they've been doing for the past 2 or 3 seasons. Or they've been thinking, okay, we're nearly there, but then we've got all of this friction with CP3 and Blake, and then this, and then there's an injury, and then there's the ludicrous experiment with Doc holding both the GM and the coach position, and then now his son's there. It's just like, it's a mess. It's just like, no. All right, just let this mess play out and unravel, and let's fix this properly next season. Because this season, as you said, Julian, it's a wrap. Even if you got into the playoffs, what are you going to do? Get destroyed. They're killed. Like, the season's over for them basically at this point. But you can start preparing for next season now, because you can help lose more. If you lose more games, that's what the Clippers should be doing, right? They should be trying to get a better draft pick for themselves. I don't know what they own or if they traded or moved things around, but I don't know if there's really an incentive for them to win games. And you can get started on the rebuild right now by trading DeAndre. And that means for the next week or so, feeding him the ball, making him look good, not playing him so many minutes that he gets injured, but make sure that he looks great. And
for Tristan Thompson.
That's one of the options. Tristan Thompson and a pick, but not the Brooklyn pick. I mean, Tristan Thompson's also out, so yeah, you can just have a completely different style lineup for the Clippers if you want. But yeah, the Cleveland is one of the teams on the list. Washington was apparently on the list as well. I saw Mavs being moved around, and like that'd be interesting, because there was that whole thing about was DeAndre going to sign with the Mavs a few years ago. But yeah, Cleveland's the one. I mean, it's just like, Sanders go to Cleveland, because Cleveland thinks that they'll make the finals without having to worry about the Celtics, and which is wishful thinking. But they think, oh, well, we need a center to play against the Warriors, right? I don't know if DeAndre Jordan is the guy to do that. I mean, if I was Cleveland and it was a choice between Marc Gasol and DeAndre Jordan, I think because if you're in win now mode, you take Marc Gasol. I think. I don't know if, because this thing, going back to Fizdale, LeBron was one of the players that tweeted out saying, "Oh, what happens? This can't be. Like, I need to know what's going on," because he knew him from his Heat days. And this makes me think that maybe Fizdale wasn't actually that great an X's and O's coach, but he was a really good player dude. Like, I don't know. I don't have anything to substantiate that.
I think he was, and from reports that I've heard, he more focuses on that side of things. And even saying that, though, some players probably don't like him because I hear he's quite hardcore and he will tell you what it is, how it is. And people like LeBron and Wade will definitely value that, whereas other guys might not be as receptive to that type of stuff. And a couple of other reports, not to go fully back into the whole Grizzlies thing, couple of other reports that I heard about the situation with him and Marc Gasol is that he was trying to make Marc Gasol do a lot more things, which are essentially some of the intangible things that guys who have left the team, like Zebo, used to do. Like getting other guys involved and all of that interpersonal stuff where Marc Gasol's like, listen, man, I play ball. That's what I do. Give me the ball. That's what I do. I'm not interested in all this other stuff. And I think other guys were more like the fire of like, yeah, let's get guys going and do all of that stuff. And Marc Gasol's not really that dude, which is not a slight on him at all. People are just different. They have different personalities. But yeah, so I think Fizdale was more of that people person. So I think that's why LeBron and Wade were kind of championing his corner like that.
And it might be one of the reasons why the Marc Gasol to Cleveland thing could never happen. Because if D Wade and LeBron think that Marc Gasol had something to do with their buddy getting fired, then like that move's never going to happen. Even if it's I mean, this is a case of LeBron being a really terrible GM again. So those they should get him because Marc Gasol leads his team in points, rebounds, blocks, and assists. Why wouldn't you want that? And I mean, I'm not saying that he's a better. If they think they're going to make the finals, he's a better player than Zaza Pachulia. And now he can't run, but he was a defensive player of the year. And he may not be able to shoot threes, but he's a wonderful passer from the high post. So hell, maybe they can run some interesting stuff like they did back in like Wade and LeBron did in the Heat days with Chris Bosh at the elbow running really simple horns action where LeBron doesn't have to play point guard 40 minutes a night. And who knows, maybe Cleveland can get Marc Gasol to sign a long-term deal. And he's you ride his contract out until he retires. And that means you have a good character player on your team. And I mean, when you're Cleveland, you have to think ahead of these things because the players don't come around.
Oh, for sure. I think from the Cavs' perspective, that would be good. Something in me does not foresee Marc Gasol going anywhere anytime soon, ever.
Ownership has said as much, so they're not going to trade him or Conley. But people say things and then do other things.
People do say things. DeAndre Jordan said things. He said things to the Mavs, and look what happened. DeAndre in Cleveland, I'm not really sure how convinced I am of that, to be fair. It started to sound all a bit too...
I see what? Your mic died.
Yeah, it's all started to sound a bit too fantasy for my liking. Like, oh, let's go get him. Oh, let's go get him. It's like, come on, man. This is, like, it's getting silly now. I mean, who do you want? You want everybody?
Yeah, for me, it's the same. Like, I'm thinking, okay, now the Cavs, they made so many trades, and like last season as well, this off season and everything. Like, it's just a bit too much. Like, LeBron is telling, okay, I want this guy on my team, I want this guy, and I want this guy, and then a few weeks later, he has that guys on his team, and I don't know, and like it's crazy to me. Like, for real, playing fantasy league a bit with your boys and everything, it's cool, and we will see how it will work out.
And what it is that you're gathering all of this talent and whatnot, but why it's kind of rubbing me the wrong way, and why it seems a bit ludicrous to me is that none of these supposed trades and pickups seem very strategic, and that's just it's like literally you're just like, let me have everything. I'm just gathering and collecting every single player I can who's half decent, but I have no idea how they are going to fit
That's
into
it.
this team. And that's, I'm not really loving that, to be fair.
No, Cleveland needs to sort it out. I mean, this is a case of LeBron being a terrible GM. I don't know how good a coach he is either, judging by, well, they've rattled off a lot of wins, but I'm not convinced he's a decent coach. Great basketball mind, but maybe not a great coach. But
he's coaching all right at the moment.
he's all right, yeah. But yeah, that team needs to sort itself out. And I mean, IT is probably going to be back in a couple of weeks' time, is what the rumor mill is saying at the moment, which would be good because I love IT. Best pound for pound player at his since Allen Iverson, probably a better. Like Allen Iverson was a different. Well, watching Allen Iverson play is different to watching Isaiah Thomas play. But Isaiah Thomas is a better scorer and he's a better shooter and more efficient in every way, and just as terrible a defender. So yeah, overall, Allen Iverson was great at steals, but IT is a terrible defender. That's a size thing. That's one reason why him coming back, I don't know if that's going to help them push them over the edge. LeBron has even said we can't rely on IT. Turns out they can't rely on any of their point guards because Jose Calderon is 1,000 years old and Derrick Rose isn't on the team anymore. Jose Calderon does have an NBA record though. I think he has the best free throw percentage for a single season of any player ever at like 98.9%. Like he just made it over the mark for like you have to take this many. And he just got there, but he's a wonderful free throw shooter, but he's too old. I mean, he's not guarding anyone. Like he's not guarding the Warriors. He's not guarding Curry or Kyrie. I'm baffled by that team. But yeah, and now D Rose. It's so sad to see. Like I thought it would just be a case of he'll go play. I thought it'd be sad like the end of his career. Like he would go play in Turkey, he would go play in China, or something like that. I didn't think he would just sort of walk out of a team and potentially leave a lot of Adidas endorsement money on the table. Like that's what it's coming to. People are seriously talking about this. And if he does come back, he's not playing well enough. Like when he signed, people said like, "Oh, LeBron's going to help his career. LeBron's going to revivify his." D Rose's career, he's gonna get him his next big contract, and that's LeBron is great at doing that. LeBron is great at helping role players nowadays get big contracts by making them shine. And people saying that about D Rose, and it just hasn't happened. It's really sad because I remember watching, because I really got into the NBA around the time that Rose was coming through as a rookie in his second year. Like became the youngest MVP ever, and he was explosive. He had some of the best dunks. He would win games by force of will alone, and it's horrible to see him fall as quick as it did. And yeah,
I agree. D Rose, it's just like every basketball fan is thinking that's just a shame, and it's a pity that he is playing like in the last 4 or 5 years or something. He's not playing at all, and not at his. He had his ceiling, and 99% he will never be again by far near to his talent. One thing on Isaiah Thomas, I think he will come back stronger, as a lot of people think. Like right now, I'm watching his little show, like on Players Tribune, the Book of Isaiah, and I'm watching him because like I'm no big guy as well, so I love him more than taller guys like you, like AC or something, because I can relate to him at a way bigger level than you. And I think he has a personality, just like pick me last again, that mentality. And he's training hard, he's working hard. And last year he had his ceiling, and I think we can await more from him. And I think he can be the point guard that Cleveland needs. But obviously it has to work out. But I think I'm a big fan of him. And obviously when you're a big fan of someone, you're talking a bit subjective and not really objective. But we will see, and we will see who is right. But in general, with injuries, like every week we are talking about injuries. And in the end, an injury is, in my opinion, in my experience, the psychological part is way more important than the physiological part, right? Because the injury and with all the treatment they get, physiologically, they will be fit again. But psychologically, going all in again after injury, going all in during the retreatment and the rehab and everything, that's a character thing and a mindset thing. And Isaiah Thomas has that, and that is why I think he will come back very strong. And maybe D Rose, right now, as he said, okay, I don't want to play, and I'm done with it more or less. The injuries broke him as a human being, maybe. Like, when now he's so tired of fighting back against. He just want to quit basketball and then go to something else, live without fighting all the rehab and everything. And everybody who had a rehab knows it's fucked up. And especially after injury, you lie in bed and you cry because you know you don't do sports for a few weeks, a month or something. You don't know if you will ever be again in the shape. And to me, like I had an injury. AC is right now. He texted me like yesterday. Okay, I dunked for the first time again. And that's crazy. And if that is so emotional and psychology a struggle for us guys who don't earn money with that and who are not feeding their families with that, it's a thing for D Rose. I can understand him.
No, I understand exactly, totally, and that's just playing for fun. Let alone the level you need to be at physically to compete in NBA. That takes a toll on your body, and to be able to get to that level and to continually break down, it's tough. So I sympathize with the fact that he's like, you know what, I'm just tired, man. I just don't want to fight, because the psychological aspect always will play on your mind, and then you start, and that can actually make it worse. Like maybe some of his injuries, recent ones, have come because of that, because in your mind, you're thinking about it, you're kind of, in a sense, attracting it to yourself. When you do go up, okay, you go up hard to the brim, but you're still thinking when you come back down the line, like, is someone going to be there? Is there going to be, is Charles Opportunity's foot going to emerge from somewhere? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. So, yeah, it's quite sad. And a lot of players have had their careers curtailed by injury and cut short. A lot of great players, like Brandon Roy, we spoke about Penny Hardaway earlier. What can you say? What can you really say? As far as IT is concerned, he is going to give the Cavs a lot of firepower. Does he ultimately solve the problems they currently have? No. But, I mean, he's going to help them paper over a lot of cracks. Trust me. Just like LeBron does now, LeBron helps them to paper over a lot of cracks, and IT will do that too. But I must say, I'm a little bit more, I'm not saying I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but I'm a bit more optimistic about the Cavs at present, having seen them one or two times. Obviously, LeBron is going crazy and playing out of his mind. So, like I just said, that's covering a lot of stuff. But when you see them without LeBron, you can at least say, okay, you guys look semi-decent. Whereas last season, the LeBron factor, basically him and Westbrook were neck and neck for, once I sit down, everything crumbles. And that's what was happening last year in Cleveland. So, I mean, I think they're good. I still don't think they're good enough for the Warriors. And maybe it's a bit disrespectful to Boston to jump straight there. But I think in a 7-game series, I think they still are better than Boston in the playoffs, in the 7-game series.
Yeah, they probably are. At the same time, Boston's going to be better than Cleveland and anyone else in the East next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, which is what they're really playing for, right? I don't think Boston was expecting, when they signed like 11 new guys to their team in the summer, to be, oh shit, we're going to win 60 games. No, I don't think Boston was expecting this at all. And Danny Ainge is probably thinking, well, I should probably charge more for tickets. But yeah, Cleveland, does LeBron, it's all does LeBron stay, which we don't know yet. But I don't think he will. I'm still convinced that he's going to leave. Suddenly the Philadelphia 76ers, it's the thing, whenever a team starts doing well, whenever a team starts becoming, suddenly the Philly is the place that LeBron's going to sign next year. No. People say that, oh yeah, Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz, and Jahlil Okafor, this is what he wanted when he came and signed with Cleveland in the first place again, Kyrie and Dion and Tristan.
Jahlil Okafor.
Joel Embiid.
Yeah, because...
My bad.
Yeah,
how about this? How about Jahlil Okafor? How about you sign him in Cleveland? How about you buy him out? There you go. That's another one. Yeah. How about that? They could do with a scoring punch off the bench.
Yeah, he's got an issue on his hands because...
Jahlil Okafor is a poor man's Al Jefferson. That's it.
His reputation needs rebuilding badly, and he hasn't even been in the league that long.
He shouldn't have punched guys out in Boston. That's his fault. He shouldn't have been speeding. He shouldn't be doing 120 miles an hour in a 60. It was reputation. It's not because he isn't a good player. We always knew he was a terrible defender. But we all know he can score from the block. But come on, just don't punch people in the head. So my reputation is spoiled. It's your fault.
Did you see LeBron get ejected the other day?
First time ever in his career, right? I wonder if he cares about that record, because there's a wonderful... Let's end on a bit of brevity after all the injury stuff. But there's a wonderful story about Wilt Chamberlain. The record he was most proud of in his career, and he has a lot of them, is he never fouled out of, or he was never ejected or fouled out of the game. Right? This is in spite of what? In spite of one season playing on average 48.5 minutes a game, because he played every single minute, including every overtime. I mean, he averaged more minutes than there are minutes in an NBA game. He still never fouled out. And yeah, I wonder if LeBron cares. I bet he doesn't. The ref should have given him one and let him walk, because you think that's the best player on the planet. Just people have come here to watch him. Don't do this at home. Let him play.
I think, as I know LeBron, and I know him good now. Just kidding. I think he cares a bit about that thing, because that's my understanding of LeBron James as persona. I think he cares about that kind of stuff, because we were talking a lot about staying true to yourself when we talk about the Warriors and everything like that. And if a guy in 13 years is playing every game a lot of minutes and never falls out and never gets rejected, it's just his persona, and it feels right now it's a bit his respect goes down or something. I don't know how to explain it, but AC, I think you got my understanding, or you got my
Yeah, I understand completely. It's a part of his, like you said, his persona, his personality is a part of him that, the way I conduct myself and stuff, I don't and haven't until now been thrown out. And it's just another thing to kind of add to the image of LeBron, because he is very image conscious, as we know. I think he does care. I think at this point, because it's happened, I would suspect that he's like, well, it's happened now. So he's just moved on. So he doesn't care a great deal now. But I think in the moment and prior to that, I think it would have been a big thing to him. I don't think he's gonna have sleepless nights over it, anything like that.
You don't think he called up Adam Silver and said, you can get one of those rescinded, right? It's bullshit. Rescind one now. Right. But that guy's never going to work again in the NBA. Send him to the G League. He'll learn how to make calls. I don't know. I think the ref is all right, mate. If I was in his position, I would have given LeBron one and just left it alone. But he was perfectly justified in the call. People have been chucked out for less. No, people have been chucked out for less. LeBron was right to get annoyed, but you can't do some of the stuff that LeBron did and not expect to get teed up once or twice. So, yeah, But anyway, if you need... After all this injury stuff and being ejected stuff, if you just need a good, feel-good NBA story, just watch a Philly game. Just watch Ben Simmons play. It's a marvel. And in fact, LeBron, they just had a game against Philly, and LeBron told Ben Simmons allegedly, there's a story going around. It's like told Ben Simmons, "You can be better than me," and I believe it. I don't think that's out of the question at all. Ben Simmons is that good, and I mean, unlike LeBron, who came into a team with nothing, Philly has got Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and hell, even maybe Markelle Fultz turns out to be a worthwhile contributor at some point. Who knows? He's not going to be a point guard. They'll have to stagger the minutes so that Markelle can play with the ball in his hands. But Ben Simmons has got the highest usage rate in the NBA, and deservedly so, because he's phenomenal. I'm saying, if you need to feel good after all this heartache, all these injuries, Ben Simmons is a great story about a guy coming back from injury. And like IT, has got that confidence in himself. No, I'm going to be great. There's no question about it. And I love seeing that. I love seeing that confidence in a player.
Yeah, me too. I love it. And I think there is no question. You can right now give him the Rookie of the Year award, and no Euro rookie will ever reach him. It's crazy. He plays so good and with such a confident player. It's nice to watch, and I love him, and I love especially guys that came back from the injury. Obviously, we didn't see him play before in the NBA, but no one expected that he will be so good.
Yeah, and it's really cool that it's paired up with also Joel going back off his injury and looking great, and maybe Markelle will come back from his injury and look amazing. It's just the process that it's all going wrong and wrong and wrong, and then we finally got all these draft picks and it all went horribly wrong again. And it's like, well, maybe fate's had its fun, and actually now you can go and be a playoff team.
I think maybe the Clippers should just buy the medical staff of the 76ers, and so like in maybe 2 years, every player will be healthy and on a good wave and rolling. But it's nice to see.
Teodosic, Gallinari, and Blake Griffin all swanning around a Qatari hospital having shit injected in their knees. Yeah, that's what you need. It's nothing in Philly. It's all in Qatar. That's where Kobe goes to get his knees drained. Kobe will fly 20 hours to get his knee drained in an Emirates. Brilliant.
Oh yeah, Kobe, he's got the hookup. You gotta go to, I forgot the dude's name now, but you gotta go to that doctor. You gotta go Germany, man. Trust me.
You gotta go Germany.
Yeah.
To the coach of Bayern Munich, right?
Yeah.
I don't get the name right now, but yeah, he's a famous coach in Germany, yeah, for sure.
Goes to show, players can come back from injury, and I mean, I was so excited for the first week of Clippers. I had Blake Griffin as a dark horse MVP candidate. He was that good.
And just to tell, I have him on my fantasy league. If anyone wants him,
I'll trade you Paul Millsap for him.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and stop trying to give people Blake Griffin. No one wants him. No one wants him.
Yeah.
Crazy. Had any of you had a chance to see any of the international stuff that's been going on?
A few highlights here and there, but you know what? Not really otherwise. Let's think about like international play. If it was on terrestrial or somewhere else, I would be watching it all the time. Like if it had the same exposure as football, I would watch it all the time. I don't like football at all. I don't like talking about football. I don't like when my friends talk about football. I get really bored really quickly in the pub with people who are talking about football. But you know what? If basketball was anything, even like a tenth as popular as football, I'll be one of those people who wouldn't stop talking about it. But it's not that way yet. And it's down to people like us to spread the word, spread the love about the best game on the face of the earth. Because basketball is the best game on the face of the earth.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Best sport going. But yeah. Some of the international stuff is really good, and possibly my highlight from the World Cup qualifiers is Thanasis. I need to see him come over to the NBA and join his brother. Thanasis Antetokounmpo. Crazy. I posted something in the group that was all of his individual players. This guy is something else. I mean, it's genetic, obviously.
You're going to have all those Antetokounmpos running around the NBA. Great.
Yeah, well, apparently there's two more to come. There's two more to come.
But was there ever like three brothers in the league dominating the league? I don't know. Like
Yeah.
Three brothers, yeah?
The three, who's had three now? I think there's actually, I didn't know.
Wait, there's 3 Plumleys.
Yeah, I was just going to say the Plumleys in.
Yeah, okay, but
You mean players that are like good?
Yeah, like Gasol, yeah, that's it. Like, I'm no hater, but Plumlee's like they are not like, oh, you are great players. Oh, Mason Plumlee or something like that, right? So
Mason Miles and the other one, yeah.
yeah, that's it. Because you have Pau and Marc Gasol and everything, and they dominated in their way.
Brooke and Robin Lopez.
Yeah, but you have some player there, but if you have like 3 Greek freaks, they can and they play in one team, 2 of them or something. They can really dominate the league, or Giannis is dominating the league right now, right?
Cody Zeller, Tyler Zeller. Was there another Zeller? No.
Other Plumleys for me. Like I don't know who the fuck is like they're all white and looking the same. I just found a list of the best brothers in the NBA. There doesn't look like there aren't any triplets or anything, but there's some good ones in here. Klay Thompson's got a brother. Blake Griffin's got a brother. Yeah, Steph Curry has a brother
Steph Curry,
as well.
Of course he does. Yeah,
but
but there are some good ones here. Like going back in time, Horace Grant had a brother in the NBA.
Yeah.
Bernard King had a brother in the NBA.
Wow, didn't know that one.
George Gervin. There's some good ones. Wow, Derek Fisher. Wow. Jeff Teague, of course. Marcus Teague was there 5 minutes with the Chicago Bulls. No trios. Maybe the Greek Freaks could be the first one.
Yeah, but because usually I come not because you hate talking about football, right? I like football and I played a lot of football in my life. Because when you grow up in Germany, you used to go to play football, right? But that's the thing. And right now, I forgot the thing. What I wanted to say? But wait, give me a second and talk about something.
Well, basically, we were talking about the fact that football is nowhere near as good as basketball.
No, it's awful. It sucks.
Yeah. I agree with that because I love basketball. I love football as well, but the love for basketball is bigger. But I was trying to say something about the brothers thing, but
the brothers.
Think about the brothers some more. Here's my thing on basketball. It's how I explain it to people when I want to prove to them that it's the best sport in the world. It's small enough that everyone on the court has to matter. You can't hide people really. Everyone has to be involved. The best basketball is played with a real team spirit, which I love. I like playing point guard, I like passing the ball. I love that stuff. You have to play both ends of the floor. But at the same time, there's just so many opportunities to go one-on-one and make your defender look like a prick. It's just, getting the assist is brilliant. I've in the past I've played with and coached players who are like, no, I like scoring, but I like assists more because I'm happy and you're happy. Like that sort of simple stuff.
I think to me, like if I can cut you, I don't know if you have wanted to make more interesting points as you made. But
I was about to say, I remember this one time I grabbed a rebound, sprinted at a guy, gave him in that dribble, pulled it back, stepped back, drained it for the win. I was like, that's my best memory.
Yeah.
But,
no, to me,
where did you do that?
Just some scrimmage somewhere.
To me, the main difference between basketball and football, because like I said, I've played a lot of football, but basketball is a thing like a social sport. You pick up your ball, you go to the court, and you play on your own, like at 3 a.m. if you want, but you go there, and maybe at 3 a.m. you find another guy and play 1-on-1, or you find other guys, you play 2-on-2. And in football, it's just you have to call 6 to 7, 8 friends to have a good match up and everything, and you can't play on your own. Whoever played football on his own, like if you're not 8-year-old child that has nothing else to do than kicking against the wall or something like that.
Just keep your uppies all day, mate. Just keep your uppies.
Yeah, but it's just basketball. the social aspect of basketball is just way bigger and way more special. Football is a social sport as well, but there's just basketball. So such a social sport. I just love it. I love it.
I agree. I co-sign that 100%.
Best game in the world. I really want to play on Barcelona courts because that's the thing about London. Like there are not enough courts. You'll find them, but there are not enough good ones. And it's the thing about the difference with football. You can't play without a few people. And like some of my best memories playing basketball is literally just by myself shooting free throws, like philosophizing over this and that. But like with football, at least you've got a pair of jumpers. That's a goal. Like basketball, you need infrastructure. And, like, you need this much space to definitely play it.
And Julian just moved to Barcelona like I did.
Moved to Barcelona.
Well, like, as you know, we got a link up coming up. So in a few months we'll be able to do that.
Can't wait.
That'll be great. One last point about basketball. I agree. One thing football has over basketball is that you can put down a couple of jumpers, you've got goals. That's great. But in the wider sense, basketball is just more interesting as a spectator. It's more interesting to look at. In football, you have, because I mean, I've played and watched football before, but it's nowhere near basketball on my sort of totem pole. But when you watch basketball, the excitement never ends. You could have 30 seconds left. You still don't actually know what's going to happen in a lot of games. You don't have these no-score ball draws that you have in football, where literally for 90 minutes, I'm sitting down watching 22 people on this pitch and nothing is occurring. That's crazy to me. Whereas in basketball, I mean, it never stops. And that's what I personally love about it as well. It's just tons more exciting.
Absolutely. I've had people tell me when I tell them about the virtues of basketball over football. They say, "Oh yeah, but like, they score every time." It's like, no, they score about 50% of the time if you're good, and it's really hard to get a shot off a good one, and that's the challenge. And hell, you put the two worst NBA teams together, that game is more interesting than the two worst teams in the English Premier League. Like,
for sure, yeah.
I can't even name them anymore. Like,
me neither. but I think the most important point is like I'm the best example. Like I played 16 years football in a club, and then I stopped playing. I signed up for a gym. I signed up for unofficial league. Like I signed up for just going to the court and spending my nights at the court and shooting. Like you said, Julian, that basketball is the enjoyment as well. Like being on alone on the court with a bit of light in cold Germany at 2 a.m. shooting free throws and just celebrating yourself. Oh, I hit it 8 of 10 free throws if you're not that good, just starting out, right? And in football, it's just, as you said, AC, 90 minutes, and there's like one opportunity, and nothing else is happening. And that can be, and especially if you look, like you said as well, Julian, two worse teams watching football, I would rather die than watching two bad teams playing football. It's just so boring. It's just a waste of the time for me. And I watch a lot of football, but even now, right now, like I'm not watching a lot of games of Barcelona, and I'm a big fan out of other reasons. But I just prefer watching basketball and playing basketball.
Also, I mean, as it comes to even if you're not interested in the X's and O's, like basketball is just more entertaining. Like there's more exciting stuff. There's more big athletic stuff, which is, I know, like there's the handful of footballers who are phenomenal athletes who could probably play a few different sports and be amazing, like Ronaldo, right? Ronaldo could be a sprinter, he could be a high jumper, all that kind of stuff. But in the NBA, you've got guys who, like you talk about, well, LeBron could be, he could play 5 positions on a basketball court, but he could also be a running back in the NFL, a quarterback in the NFL, a tight end in the NFL, a free safety in the NFL. He could be like, you got guys who could do anything. Like hell, Aaron Gordon, when he jumped over that mascot on the hoverboard in the dunk contest, like someone said, like, if he was in the Olympics, he would have won the bronze medal in the high jump. Like, that's the class of athletes that basketball produces.
I tell you, that's the main thing I love about basketball, because with basketball, and especially the NBA, where it's to a certain point just too extreme with 82 games in a few months, and then playoff games and everything. It's kind of coming to extreme to the body, or it's reaching the limit of the human body. But that's the thing, like, especially second league and worst teams of European football, they train one day at a time, 2-3 hours, and then they are good. And you look at their bodies, okay, they are working out in the gym as well and everything, but man, I have the difference from my capability of my human body, and like how I am working out and training myself in comparison to a football player that is earning good money, and to a basketball player. It's like just worlds. Basketball player, I think, and as well, like, the thing being on yourself on the court, a basketball player did tons of hours, way more playing his sport than a football player. I'm just thinking that, because like back in the time, I was playing all the time football as well. But it's just like the component, you have to work on your own, on your game in basketball. You have to make free throws on your own and everything. And the component is just not that high. Yeah, yeah, but that's the thing as well. That's the what I love in basketball, the work ethic thing, and the talent and work, the combination. You can come way far with work ethic in basketball, or in general, in life in general. But I think you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Getting a little that little noise, some noise on your mic there, young. But I still got what you say.
No, I hear you, man. Like, it's me. When people say, "Oh, it's so stop-start," they're going up and down all the time. As well, there's like NBA players, the game is shorter, but they play 4 times a week, not once. But and they're training other days, and they got shoot around. And then they get maybe. If you make the playoffs, you play 100 games a year.
Yeah, and one thing as well, like, they are flying in different time zones all the time. And one fucking team in Europe, they play Champions League. Oh, we have to fly to Moscow. There's cold and there's time shift and everything, and they are complaining because they have 2 games in a week, and they. Yeah,
that pisses me off when they say, like, "Oh yeah, we got a game in Europe in midweek." It's like, "Oh, we're gonna come back and play Newcastle on Sunday." It's like, man, you get on your team.
Yeah.
Like, LeBron James needs to play 40 minutes a night, 4 nights a week, for his team to have a chance. Like, I look at teams like Manchester United. It's like, how much money do you guys have? You have 2 starting caliber teams on your bench. Like, what are you moaning about? I mean, we can get angry about this all night if we want to.
I wanted just to end it, like, it's a discussion we could go on for hours. And if any football fan who is a diehard football fan will ever listen to that, it's not that problem, because it's a basketball podcast. But I think every basketball fan who listens, who played, to me, they're welcome, because I was a football fan as well. Well, I am a big fan. Yeah, I know. But it's just a thing. We can go on for hours like that with the difference, and a diehard football fan does not want to say, or want to say, okay, I can see your points or something. But yeah, that's another thing as well with human beings in general.
Yeah, I get you completely. I say I'm not a big fan of football. I quite like playing it. It's the things I can't for the life of me stand watching golf, but I've been on a golf course and a driving range once. Yeah, it was all right. I could see myself enjoying that at some point in my life, but yeah, some people just take it way too seriously. One thing also, maybe just end on this. Again, we could go for hours. It really pissed me off when buddies of mine talk about, we won at the weekend. It's like, were you playing?
Who is we? That's one of my things. This whole week. Who's
like, mate, you live in Watford, yet you support Liverpool. You've never been to Liverpool. Like, who's this we nonsense? No, get over yourself. You won nothing. So you sat in a pub. Even though I love Miami Heat, but I don't get that. I mean, I don't love them that much this year. But maybe we'll talk about that on another pod. When talking about injuries, just whip it back to it. Hassan Whiteside's been throwing shade at the Miami Heat medical team, and I don't like it. You don't throw shade on your own, on your staff like that ever. It's one step down from punching a guy in the face, like Griffin. So
well, you've already got the petition out to trade him.
Anyway. Trade him now. Trade him for DeAndre Jordan.
It's nothing new. Let's leave that there.
I'll take Montrezl Harrell and Sam Dekker, and I'll be happy. I just don't want him on my team.
Leave Whiteside alone, man.
We're just trying to have fun. All right. I mean, we can talk about them another time. We've been going for like an hour and a bit. Should we call time on this one?
Yeah, let's call time.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing.
Yeah.
If Kevin is listening to it, like, because I played with Kevin one-on-one on Monday, and we had a good workout, and kind of sometimes he destroyed me as well. He's Isaiah Thomas and way smaller. Kevin, if you're hearing it, we have to repeat, and I will destroy you. But yeah, that's everything for my part.
Absolutely, do it.
Declarations of war and stuff, yeah?
yeah, but friendly, like lovely declaration.
Friends not inside the lines. Like, ain't got no friends inside the lines.
You know, Russell Westbrook, my only friend is the ball. Yeah?
Yeah.
No doubt. But cool. As we normally do, I'd like to thank everybody for listening. Thank you guys for being on, and hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and bid you farewell. Adios.
Adios.
Catch you on the rebound.
Basketballbreaks.com. Keep it locked.
For people who like who love